Hey, Matt from the A-Team here, and I'm going to show you how to go from this to this. Today on 4-Minute Film School, we're doing rear projection. Let's go. Rear projection used to be the go-to method for compositing actors into different environments. Nowadays, we typically use green screens for this type of work, and rear projection has become less and less popular, but they also require a lot more work both in post-production and on set. For indie filmmakers who don't want that much post-production work, or for people that want to do as much in-camera effects as possible, rear projection is still a great technique. Essentially, this is done by projecting an image onto a screen from behind, then shooting your subject against it. The benefit of rear projection is you can see exactly what the final product is going to look like. Because you're shining light through a screen, some of that light can fall onto the subject and create a more realistic spill. So let's check out what that looks like on set. For this setup, we're using projectors, but before we start lighting, we need to figure out where our camera is going to be. And this is going to determine where our silk and our projector is going to be set up within our frame. We're using the windowsill on our set to hide the edges of our silk and our projection. Projecting might be a nice alternative to using green screen because you're actually using a real light source. You're not having to key anything out or recreate any lighting. We had also modified the brightness and the focus to achieve a nice realistic look while not overexposing the image behind the actor. Now, the key to making rear projection work is to use some form of a screen. In our case, we're using silk, but really you can use a bedsheet or even a shower curtain, anything that is white and semi-transparent. Now, for our first light, we have two MCs. We have one inside our set with some diffusion on top and one outside, and all this is doing is providing a nice ambient light as if there's a second window off camera. So for our next light, we have the 300x set to a daylight color temperature along with the spotlight mount. And all this is really doing is providing a nice texture in the background coming from our window. Now for our last light, we brought in the Aputure Nova set to a daylight color temperature. And this is really acting like another window inside our house. Now to achieve a super soft key light on our actor, we brought in the light as close as possible just outside frame and dimmed it down. Our image was a little too contrasty, so we just brought in a bounce to fill in some of those shadows. To top it off, we added a little bit of fog to our scene, and all this is really doing is adding some depth and contrast to our image. Let's check it out. Now here are a few other examples of what you can do with rear projection in the same exact location. Alrighty, time for a recap. When lighting a scene with rear projection, there are 3 things to keep in mind. First, use an image that makes sense given the camera's perspective. This means matching the angle the image is taken from, as well as how in focus it is. Second, use lighting to sell the effect of the projection. Matching the color and the quality of the light can help add a sense of realism to your scene. And third, balance the exposure between the set and the projection. Having proper contrast between the lighting inside and the fake outside light can help keep your image from looking artificial. Comment question of the week: how would you use rear projection to shoot a sunset scene? Let us know in the comments for a chance to win an Aputure M9. Also, while you're there, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more tutorials. I've been Matt with the A-Team. Thanks for watching 4-Minute Film School, and happy shooting.